All right, let's keep this comic book unboxing party going here at the end of 2021. I have another order from Mile High Comics that I placed using my strategic analysis comic book buying acquisition thing that I've been creating and working on. So we're going to open this up, take a look at the books inside, analyze the order, and see, was it worth my time and worth my money? Let's find out. All right, so this will be an unboxing and reveal of what's inside. Again, this is an order from Mile High Comics, and I've been doing this a lot here at the tail end of 2021, where I've been more analytical with my purchasing of comic books online and really trying to target certain books in certain eras, certain grades, certain values, and trying to combine all of this knowledge and all of these tools that I've been creating to buy comic books more intelligently online, because it is a risk reward process when you can't actually see the books. And it's important to me that I'm using my money and risking it wisely instead of just blindly kind of hunting around online through eBay and other places. So let's get to the, I would say unboxing, but it's the unenveloping. This is the Mile High FedEx envelope that they always ship in. So we'll tear this open, and always anxious to see what's inside, because I'm always taking a nice calculated gamble with Mile High, and they are consistent with how they package and ship everything here. So we've got the outer envelope open, and then this sort of U-line mailer here that will pop open and unfold. And then you've got their makeshift cardboard wrapper inside. It's usually like 4 layers of stuff with some tape and everything included. So, all right, that part's off. A little bit of tape here. All right, some more tape here on the side. There we go. All right, almost in. One last layer of bubble wrap to take off, and then they also have this plastic bag. It's kind of oversized shopping bag or something that they put the comics in. And let's see. So, what we are hoping for are certainly some 9/8, but if not, then we'll take 9/4 or 9/6 quality books and see what we can get. So I kind of like to work these in reverse order if possible. So let me see if I can kind of shuffle these, or at least maybe pick out. So the first book, this is Moon Knight number 14. And what I want to do is actually open these up and grade them here as well. So I'm not going to hold the book and talk about it. I'm going to open it up out of the bag, and we're going to grade it together. Because I've noticed that in my recent videos where I'm buying these books, we're just kind of guessing what grade these books are in. And right off the bat, let's look at this. Look at what we have here. There's a huge, like, jammed side cover. And that's got to be almost probably 2.5 to 3 inches long in terms of that. And unfortunately, it's color breaking. So even though I could press that out, there's going to be a color break line there. So obviously, is it worth pressing, because there's evidence there. Some spine damage here and here. Yeah. So I don't know. Not a great start. I wanted to get this because of the stained glass scarlet, and good value for the book. Still collecting these Moon Knight issues from the 80s before the series comes out. Otherwise, it's a very vibrant, not faded, nice Sienkiewicz cover here. Pages are, those are probably, they're either off-white to white or white. But not bad coloring, just unfortunately has that really lengthy damage there. And that's where that alone, so what you do when you grade these books is find the greatest defect, which right there, that clearly is. And then, I don't know if you can see the color break, but that's quite unfortunate for that book right there to already have that. Now they have a guarantee, which I'm always tempted to invoke, which is if you send that book to CGC and it comes back lower than an 8.5, you get your money back, including the cost to grade it, which I think is a joke. If anyone out there has ever done that, let me know and see how successful that is for getting your money back, because I don't know how they would actually track the book completely end to end. And there's all of this risk assumed when you're sending the book. I mean, I could literally just mash the book in half and send it off to Florida. I really don't know how you would legally take advantage of that guarantee. But nevertheless, here it is. So what grade would you give this book? For me, with this here, you're already knocking it down to into the 7 or 8 range with the spine ticks. 7.5 maybe. I feel like that's probably a fair grade. I don't think we're getting down to this book being in fine condition. That certainly could be pressed, and maybe some of the color break could be hidden in a way. It's really sharp otherwise. It's just unfortunate it has that side damage. Without this damage here, I think you are looking at a 9.4 or a 9.6. But that being such a wide jam, I think I'm going to give that a 7.5. So I'm going to replace the bag and board because there's no sense in having the giant Mile High sticker on the front. I never leave the books in that. I see a lot of collectors post and, well, not really post, they're really bragging about the books that they have. And like, look, I bought all these books from Midtown, or I bought all these books from Mile High. And I was totally right in my prediction when I cleared them out. And I see them still keep all of the stickers on there. And I know it's about bragging, like, haha, I got these books at a low price from this store. Why don't you look and see? But they don't share anything else that they've purchased. But the problem is when you leave those stickers on and you start piling books on top of each other and everything, the stickers start to press down on the front cover. So if you are going to brag about the books that you get, just replace the bag and board and lie about it. Nobody really has to know where you got them, right? So you just tell them you got them down the street at a yard sale for 50 cents and you got all of these keys, and just make sure that the sticker's off. All right, so let's put this one aside. And let's grab another one. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to grade these. And then I think this is the next one. Nope. I'm going to grade these, and then we're going to put them into the spreadsheet for ordering. Okay, so here we go. Here's the next one. This is Star Wars 71. This one is a key if you are... Well, if you're into Star Wars, well, it's a key regardless if you're into Star Wars or not. But in anticipation for the Book of Boba Fett and anything related to Mandalorians or bounty hunters, I have been trying to slowly stash away books related to either Empire Strikes Back or bounty hunters in general. And this, there's a few appearances of Bosk. I believe this is his first full appearance. And there he is right there in the first page. So that is who I'm talking about, the Trandoshan Bosk, bounty hunter. I just have a feeling that Book of Boba Fett's going to be wild, and I'm going to prep for that. Now, at first glance, I don't see any real, like, severe damage or anything. So, again, looking at this, and I apologize in my other videos if I don't do this. If you like this or not, let me know. If you want this to be separate, but this way you can really tell from unboxing to data entry to order analysis, really kind of what I'm dealing with. You have this yellow cover down here. This is super, super crispy. I don't see any issues on the front. There's a very delicate, subtle spine curl, as most of these books always have. I'm almost getting tired of mentioning it. Right here is the only spine tick I see, right there by my thumb. Here's another one. Just saw that one. Just a very hairline. Right, hard to tell, right there. So those would be allowed under CGC guidelines as a 9.8. The back is really, it's eye-popping white. I have a feeling this is a 9.8, even without a press. So that's what I'm going to give it. I'm assigning this one a 9.8. So that was awesome. That's actually rare. It's rarer than you'd think, even though there's still, if I'm looking at the stats, there's still like a, I want to say it's like a 20% chance of just getting a slam dunk 9.8 right out of the chute from Mile High. But it has been sort of a legacy stat, if you will, where more recently the trend has been somewhere between 0 and 10%. So that's fantastic. I'm a Star Wars nut. Still collecting all of the original Star Wars comics, getting as many as I can. And I think that this one has the potential to start blowing up later on once that show on Disney Plus starts. And what I love about it is, even if I'm wrong, it's still a great cover with Luke and Lando, Han in the back. And again, think about that for a second. What kind of storylines is Boba Fett going to relate back to? His certainly, I think time in or out of the Sarlacc pit will be a thing, but it's going to be about bounty hunting. It's going to be what the Mandalorian got away from, and we're going to put the bounty hunters back up in the forefront, and what it means, and Boba Fett's involvement, whether he's an anti-hero or friends or foes with the other bounty hunters. It's going to be great, and I'm just staring at this book because I think I'm super lucky that that came back in a 9.8. All right, so next up, trying to go in order. Let's see here. Okay, two have the same value, so it's not going to really matter which one we go with next, but let's do this one. All right, so this is Amazing Spider-Man 201. I saw this recently, and oh man, I forget it. I was going to talk about how I saw this on a YouTube channel, and they were talking about favorite covers, and I was like, oh, I remember that cover. I looked through my bins and my spreadsheets. I don't have this one. And then lo and behold, as I'm talking about it or thinking about it, now you've got your crease down here. Just ridiculous. So that's the, again, this is the gamble, right? And why I end up ordering so many books, because while that Star Wars book, it's amazing. Yeah, I got the 9.8. I'm stoked. And you're looking at it going, wow, how does he do this or whatever? And then you look at the book and again, it's pristine. It's like, wow, the spine looks amazing. And then you get that gnarly folded paper there. Now, this is another one where, can we do anything with this? Is it so just part of the page DNA of this comic book? Man, that's unfortunate, because and I hate to say, like, if that defect wasn't there, this is with the grade, because, well, the defect is there, but the rest of the book, it has a terrible wrap. So again, I hate the cover wrapping on these books, but so that to me is kind of an eyesore, but it's a wonderful cover. I highly recommend grabbing this book. If you're a Punisher fan, Spider-Man fan, and you don't have 129, there are books like this that are scattered throughout ASM where Punisher shows up, and they're great, affordable books. And man, I'm going to have to try and Steam it to get that out, and I think it's worth a try. But what would you grade this book with that dent there? Trying to get it in the light again. Hopefully you saw it before, but it's about, it stretches, it's about a 2 to 3 inch paper, I don't know, paper jam, paper curling right there, right across their feet. You can kind of see it's not in, there it is. Now you can see it. So what would you give the book if that's the only defect? Is that a 9.4? I feel like it could, I don't know. I feel like because it's so severe, like if it was just right there on the edge, maybe it's a 9.4, maybe it's a 9.2. I feel like it's an 8. That's kind of what I'm going to settle on, is giving that book an 8. And I'm very disappointed. I am going to mark that it could be available for pressing. And I think it would be a good experiment to see if it can come out. So look for that in a future video of me trying to press out that book. So I did give it the 8.0 with the press. and I'm going to package this one back up in the bag and board and then put it aside for pressing later on. So, man, unfortunate. Such a great cover. Would have been one of those that I would have hung on the wall, would have kept for the PC, but there it is. So that one gets the 8-0. And 2 more to go in this 5-book order. This one is a Silver Age book, Submariner 39. Occasionally, Mile High will have Silver Age on there, and the price is not like extraordinarily, insanely high. For this order, I took advantage of their 60% off keyword sale. So let's see what this book gets. Now, remember, these are all listed in near mint, right? So they should all relatively have the same condition. So they don't, obviously. They're all over the board. One was a 9.8, one was a 9 or an 8 or whatever. It's all over the place. But let's take a look at this. So first of all, this looks like a brand new book. So even though it's Silver Age in a near mint, it's in great shape. There is a slight, very slight dent right there you can see. Not as bad as the ASM 201, but very subtle. There you go. You can see it right there. But the spine looks really, really nice. That corner, just a little bit of bindery tearing there, just slightly split. No other spine ticks that I can see. Look at that. Again, miswrapped, which sometimes helps it, because even if there's a hairline spine tick, you're looking at it with a magnifying glass. So I saw this recently where somebody was explaining CGC grading, as I show you the rest of the book. And they said if you have to shine something in a light to see a hairline spine tick that you can't really see with the naked eye, then a lot of times they will let that pass. Now, sometimes I feel like, did they actually see it? And did they just miss it? Or are they allowing for it? But look how white that is. That's super, super, super crispy and white. Now, here we go where it's like, is this a 9.8 or is this a 9.6? Up here, very subtly, as I mentioned, hard to get in the light, but there is just a little bit of a corner issue. I don't even know if you can pick it up. Right there where my finger is, there's just a slight dent. Little bit of staining here, but super white. Again, as most of these books have, it's just that gentle, subtle spine curl. And I don't want to hold this book very much longer because I am starting to sweat. And I don't want to get marked down for fingerprints. And there we go. So what would you give this book? Again, the issue is the very, very subtle dent there. I don't really see, maybe a little bit of color rub right in here, but very straight, crisp. I mean, I want to give this book a 9.8. I just don't know if that dent right there is probably what's going to do it. And again, it's not... It just may be very slightly color breaking. So in that case, I feel like it may not get the 9.8, but now I'm wondering, would it even get a 9.6? And it's stretching from this guy's head all the way up to the bottom of this tire. So that's where that issue is. And unfortunately, because it's that long, again, just it's about an inch and a half, inch and 3/4. Because it's so lengthy, that's the problem that I have with giving it the 9.8 there. If it was just a little bit on the tire, I feel like that could be pressed out. On the inside, I really don't see it pushing through. The only thing I can see too is there's quite a bit of... I hope this hasn't been color touched. I notice a little bit going through right there. It's really hard to tell. I don't see any signs of like a Sharpie or a pen, but I don't like when I see that, right? It's where it says Mariner. Thing is, there's stuff all like on every page. So I don't want to just immediately call or, cry foul and say that this has been color touched. I have to just kind of play dumb and say it hasn't been. I don't think I don't think Mile High is in the business of color touching these books. Certainly, as they acquire them, are they going through them? This is a tough one. When I first saw the book, I'm like, this is a 9.8, and I got very excited. But on second glance, I feel like the length of this here is going to make it a 9.4. So I think that's where I'm going to leave it, as a 9.4. Now, a 9.4 Silver Age book is nothing to sneeze at. So I'm going to give it the fullback treatment here. And I am going to say that it could be pressed, because I do feel like there's just a slight welling of that crease. So I would like to see that maybe pressed out. But still not bad, and I think I'm overthinking the color correction. It doesn't look like it has been, but just some, I guess, newspaper-ish stains, if you will. But wow, gorgeous book. Super tough too in black. Like you can imagine, typically the Silver Age with the black here, like you're not going to see a book like this with the dark, like basically the top 2/3 of the book has like a black border, and there's just nothing. There's just nothing up and down the edge there. Really nice. So, we're trying for the 9.8. That's why I'm scrutinizing the book so much, is because that's what we want, is we want the 9.8. And certainly disappointed when any book, Silver Age, Modern Age, or anything in between, is less than a 9.8, because that's what we're going for. But getting that book in a 9.4 with maybe a press that shoots it up to a 9.6, possibly, it's listed in near mint. Okay, so the last one, this one was, I definitely say I feel like I overpaid for it, but I wanted to have it in the collection before the She-Hulk show gets going. And this is Secret Wars #3. This is the first appearance of Titania, which is confirmed for the show. And I didn't get this book, didn't have it in my collection when that news broke. So of course I'm paying for it for being a little behind the curve there, but saw this came up in their available inventory and wanted to grab it now. So if we give it a quick look, these are white pages all day long. That's great. Love it. Let's take a look, a bit more detail. Sharp edges, as you would expect. Corner looks really good. I count, looks like either somewhere from 0 to 3 spine ticks. And why do I include 0? Because again, it's I don't even know if I can pick them up on camera. They're so slight in hairline, and then they kind of disappear. I can't even find them anymore. There's one up here, right there, just a nick, but looks great. That corner is just slightly soft, but I think it's passing. So the back's tough. It has this Parker Brothers video game Cubert Popeye Frogger deal. This is where you're going to see a lot of damage on these sorts of books from this specific month and release that have this ad. And you can see even that has just a little bit there, some slight color rubbing. And again, almost every book has this subtle spine curl. It looks just slightly faded on the top, but you could just see the gloss just popping off this book. Here's the rest of the edge. I don't see any other dents or anything of that kind. So is this a 9.8? I think so. Again, miswrapped comics all day long from Mile High, and that's just kind of the way it is. Am I allowed to give it a 9.8? Like, I feel like it's a 9.8. The spine was tremendous, just gorgeous. I'm just worried about this corner up here as being the only real detractor. And again, I've seen worse corners get a 9.8, and especially the white pages. This is going to be a 9.8 white pages. For me, again, the wrapping, I'm such a nerd and a stickler around the wrapping. This is not a book that I think I want to keep and display on my wall forever. but nonetheless, I mean, still great. So I'm going to give this one the full back with a 9.8 as well. So if you're scoring at home, that's 2 out of 5 that got the 9.8. So I think I beat the odds there. And then the Submariner book, that one, it's weird. It's like if you just kind of held the book like I did and you looked at it, I mean, it's hard to see a Silver Age book be available like that with the gloss and the pop that book has. And so I just that 1 to 1.5 inch or whatever I said, 1 3/4 inch slight dent on the cover. I don't know if I'm being too hard on the book or not, but what a great collection here of 5 books, regardless of grade. I really think I chose well here. So we've got the First Titania and Secret Wars 3, Stained Glass Scarlet here, Moon Knight 14, first appearance of Bosk, or one of his first appearances, depending on what you would say for a first appearance, right there in Star Wars 71. Unfortunate that this one has the damage that it does, but I'm going to try and clean that up too with Amazing Spider-Man 201 with the Punisher, and last but not least, that's Submariner 39 from the Silver Age. All right, so let's get these books into the spreadsheet. Let's do some quick order analysis to kind of show whether or not I made the right decision with my money here, and what kind of return I'm going to get on my investment if I were to send these books as is into CGC. So let's take a look at that. All right, so let me explain a little bit about what this order is in terms of detail, what I spent on it. So it was placed at the beginning of December 2021, paid $7 insurance here, and then the price for the book here. This is the negative amount and the summary of the order. So not cheap books, not your flea market, eBay books, but these are the books I like to buy. They're expensive, and they have the most return for your money. So what this is now is the cover price fair market value is here in column U. And if we move to the right, we can see the total cost of the book, the raw profit, and then my favorite column is CGC profit all the way to the right there. But right now, if again, you're looking at buying comics from Mile High and then turning them around and selling them, that's not the way to really invest in this scenario or in this process. You can see here raw profit, huge negative number here. So you end up paying more than fair market value. And fair market value, remember, that covers all grades. So it's from 9.8 down to 0. I mean, it's everything and everything in between. It's just an average of all sales. Most of that cover price data comes from eBay, which we don't know what those books are in terms of grade. Now, when we're talking about slab grades, obviously we're picking up that, and this is where I like to purchase books from Mile High because, as we'll see here in a moment, and we start plugging in the grades, the chance is that column AB in the CGC profit, again, this is the non-realized potential profit if my grading skills are good enough to actually predict the grades. So what I want to do is start plugging them in. We'll go lowest grade to highest grade. And we'll start with Moon Knight number 14, which I assigned a 7.5. Again, if it can be pressed, then it can be pressed. But as it is right now, it is a 7.5. So if I plug in a 7.5, it has no value. So not a strong start here. There's no value for a 7.5 slabbed. And hey, that's the way it goes. So this is a loss, and you kind of take the good and the bad, hope for the best, and use your data to kind of hopefully accurately predict what your potential is. And let me just jump over real quick too. Let's look at the store ledger. I haven't looked at this for a while. And if let's search for Mile High here. Here we go. So right now, their data is average grade slightly under 9.4. So this is, I've graded 222 books out of 305 purchased. 9.35 is the average grade. I have 46 9.8s from Mile High with a 20.72% chance. Here, sorry, I'll get the numbers up there. Right here in this line. So it's a 20.72% chance to get a 9.8. And then if they come back slab 9.8, this is my total here, and it's a 2.7% of all books actually returned from CGC. Not that I've sent that many in, but it takes this divided by the actual number of books that I purchased. Anyway, so this is the current data that I'm looking for. So again, average grade just slightly under 9.4 with a 21% chance to get a 9.8 from Mile High. So that's where these numbers at the bottom come from. So right now, I've graded one book. 7.5 is the average grade of the order, with a 0% of those books being a 9.8. All right, let's move on. The next one is this Amazing Spider-Man with that really horrible gash at the bottom. And this one is issue 201, and I gave it an 8.0. I feel like it's worth a chance, worth a shot pressing that one. But here we go. This is Spider-Man 201 with an 8.0. And even in an 8.0, we're talking about $88 of value there and a profit of $13. Not what I was hoping for with that book. Again, this one will have to be the magic of science. Can I get that part of the book where that page has been depressed and folded over? Can I get it to relax? Can I press it out? If I can, then we're talking about a 9.8. Everything else about this book is great. That, not so great. I'm giving it an 8.0. And if I look back at this one too, I'm thinking, I know I mentioned this part, but am I being too conservative or too hard on the book? I mean, I'm kind of thinking like, well, why did I give this one an 8 and why did I give this one a 7.5? And this one I gave a 7.5 because it had the damage, and in terms of the length of the damage, as compared to the Spider-Man 201, it's about the same length, but this one also had spine ticks. That ASM 201 did not. So I'm trying to be consistent. Even if I'm consistently wrong, I'm trying to remain consistent with how I grade the books. And again, the power of the internet, you can see this, you can comment. Let me know what grade you give all 5. Let me know what grade you'd give one of the books, or just tell me I'm an idiot. Either way, it's fun. Okay, so the next one is Submariner 39, and this one I also gave a 9.4. I wanted to give this one a 9.8. I couldn't give it a 9.6. Again, there's just a little bit of a depression here, but boy, this book was glossy, shiny. You just don't see that every day from a Silver Age book. So this one, I just love owning this one. This is such a great copy of Submariner 39. And I gave it a 9.4. Let's plug that in to the formula. Fingers crossed. This one should be pretty nice. And it is $122 for a 9.4. Again, a lot of these are either minor keys or off keys. And I love buying those because it just kind of flies a little bit under the radar, but still has value. People still recognize a lot of those books and their significance in the collecting community. Okay, so that's a 9.4. If we see the CGC profit of $47, we're on the right track here, and saving the two best for last, where we want that AB column CGC profit to be as high as possible. It's still in the negative. All right, so let's do, how about Secret Wars 3, which I did give a 9.8 to. It is miswrapped, but I feel like that is ready to go to CGC. As is, right out of the box. And if we add my grade of 9.8, $258 for a 9.8 currently for that first appearance of Titania. When she shows up in She-Hulk, I mean, if if we can have random Kingpin back issues, dollar bin Kingpin issues now be anywhere from 20 to $40 and graded over 100. When we see Titania, who was confirmed for the show up and be an adversary of She-Hulk, I feel like I got a good score here. Did I overpay for this book? Yes. I had no idea I was buying a 9.8 at the time. It was a total cost of $72.60 for that book, for a Secret Wars book. But in the end, it ended up being a profit. So this is where you kind of scratch your head like, wow, it's a lot of money being spent, but the potential here is tremendous. So looking at $157.38 potential profit if this book does come back as a 9.8. All right, last but certainly not least, this is Star Wars 71. Just an absolute beautiful copy here. I gave it a 9.8. I think it can get a 9.8 by itself. I still would have somebody press it, or I may press it just to give it a quick press, just to try and get out some of this this very slight spine curling, only because I would want to not see that in a slab. I have books that are spine curled encased in a 9.8. Batman 89 is the one I bring up often, and so I know it's possible to get the 9.8 even with that. But just to be on the safe side, I would probably still press it anyway. I'm going to give it a 9.8 because it's absolutely gorgeous and perfect everywhere, and it's $309. This is the first full appearance of Bosk. I totally believe that the Empire Strikes Back bounty hunters are going to be in the Book of Boba Fett. I just have a feeling that all the success of having IG-11 be in Mandalorian, they know that they have to sort of pay homage to that brief couple of minute scene where Darth Vader is meeting with those bounty hunters. They've got to do something, and I think Bosk is a great character to bring in. Like I've talked about, there's Trandoshans there in the trailer, and I feel like that was a targeted book, and I'm glad I have it in my possession. And this one really put the order over the edge all by itself with a $242 potential profit as a 9.8. So bringing the overall order, again, potential profit if I were to get these books graded. And this is just grading the books as is, if you can remember. So as is, if they all go in, it's a $401 potential profit. I had to go back and look and make an adjustment here because I wasn't getting any data for Moon Knight number 14, and it is listed as a key first appearance of Stained Glass Scarlet. And it was weird to me that the book was really hurting the overall score and value of the order. And so going back and flipping these to 9.4 and getting the actual data, 9.4 GPA of Moon Knight 14 is $126. So even in a 9.4, that has some value. And a 7.5 was, again, it's not really worth anything still, but it's not zero either. So when I go back and I put the original grades here, there we go. So here's the original grades again with a, again, it's not really helping me out here, $419.08, but it was zero before. So again, flipping them all to 9.4, this was the expectation. And in a 9.4, we're still looking at $119 now. So this is why I strategically looked at this order and thought, well, it is a low risk, even though it's a lot of money, that if I got them all back in 9.4s, then I'd still be making about $120 if I were to send them all to CGC as near mint 9.4s. You can see also why I was targeting Moon Knight, because it definitely has current value in the market. Now, just for fun, let's turn all these 9.8, and we're talking about over $1,500. Certainly, as you've seen when I went through the grading process, that's not the case, but this is always kind of the fun, is that, you know, you could win the lottery and all 5 would come back. The data shows that that's not going to happen. The data shows that, no, actually, maybe 1 in 5 should be a 9.8. You could make the strong case that Star Wars is a 9.6 because of that the spine curl. I think the no-brainer is Secret Wars. So if we go back, let's put the original grades back in and switch the Star Wars to 9.6, because I did mention I probably wouldn't grade that just as is. It definitely dips to 79, but still looking at $189 profit. So as you play with the numbers and you play with your level of confidence with grading and how you truly feel about the order, you can kind of make those calls and see what's worthwhile in terms of what books you're going to send to CGC, CBCS, or anywhere really. And what I do is, based on this data, if any of the books are above a certain amount, certain profit, then I build a second list that actually tells me which books to send in. So I've got spreadsheets telling me which books to buy, where to buy them. And then once I get them back and grade them, I have another spreadsheet telling me these are the books to send to CGC. So don't be a dummy anymore. Use these spreadsheets. Don't make decisions on your own. And I say, okay, I'll just follow whatever the data says. And it's been working out so far. I sent an order into CGC. It was just received today. And we'll see when I get that order back. So I'm going to start this cycle of identifying books that I recently pick up from eBay, Atomic Avenue, Mile High Comics, and other places, and grade them, send them across, and see what they come back as. There you go. Thank you for watching. Happy collecting, and see you next time.